Tunguska event, the mysterious explosion in Siberia, 1908. Disaster from the sky. In the early morning of June 30th, 1908, the Siberian wilderness was plunged into a deathly silence. The local population, the nomadic Evenki people and the Russian loggers, had no idea that in a split second, the entire sky above them would burst into a blinding light, accompanied by an unprecedented destructive force. The eastern sky suddenly lit up as if the sun had risen earlier than usual. But this was not the dawn. It was a giant fireball that plummeted from space, leaving a red streak of light that stretched hundreds of kilometers. Eyewitnesses from afar reported that it was like a pillar of fire, so bright that it was impossible to look directly at it. Some even felt their bodies heating up before the object touched the ground. And then, in the blink of an eye, the entire land exploded. A deafening explosion rang out, sending shock waves rippling for hundreds of kilometers. Reindeer herders nearly 50 kilometers from the epicenter were thrown to the ground, their homes blown away, trees falling like broken matchsticks. A man in the town of Vanavara, nearly 65 kilometers from the blast, said the force felt like he was being set on fire, while his windows and furniture were completely destroyed. Further away, in London, seismic equipment recorded unusual vibrations, equivalent to a major earthquake. Meteorological stations around the world detected strange fluctuations in the atmosphere, and most incredibly, the skies over Europe lit up for several nights. People in Britain could read outside at midnight without a lamp, as the dust clouds reflected sunlight from the other side of the world. But the strangest thing of all is that no one knows exactly what happened. There was no impact crater, no large meteorite fragments were found. Just over 2,000 square kilometers of forest were flattened, the trees lying flat in the same direction, as if a giant hand from above had swept them all away. What really fell from the Siberian sky that fateful morning? A giant meteorite? A disintegrating comet? Or something beyond human imagination? This mystery would haunt humanity for more than a century to come. The delayed investigation and unsolved mysteries. It was not until 1927, nearly 20 years after the explosion, that Soviet scientist Leonid Kulik led the first expedition to the area. He expected to find a giant impact crater, but what he found added to the mystery. Charred ground, twisted trees, but no sign of a meteorite or any solid object. To reach Tunguska, the expedition had to cross dense forests, cross icy rivers, and face the deadly wilderness of Siberia. The local Evenki people were reluctant to speak of the land, telling tales of fire from heaven and a rampage of forest spirits. Many refused to lead the way, believing the land to be haunted and that trespassers would meet with misfortune. When they reached the epicenter of the blast, Kulik and his comrades could not believe their eyes. A vast area had been flattened, trees lying flat in concentric circles, like the ripples of a terrible explosion. But amid all the signs of destruction, there was not a single impact crater. Subsequent analysis revealed anomalies in the chemical composition of the soil and vegetation. Traces of elements such as nickel and iridium, which are often associated with meteorites. But why were no fragments found? Kulik tried to dig deep into the ground in the hope of finding fragments of the meteorite, but all efforts were in vain. The area showed no signs of a solid object falling from the sky. This made the theory of a meteorite impact more uncertain than ever. After returning, Kulik proposed a bold hypothesis. The object exploded in the air before hitting the ground, releasing all its energy without leaving a visible trace. However, this opened up a whole new set of questions. How could a meteorite completely vaporize without leaving any fragments? If it was a comet, why had no large amounts of ice been detected in the area? Gradually, new theories began to emerge, not only from scientists but also from conspiracy theorists. Was there another force behind the explosion? An ancient secret weapon test? A collision between Earth and an extraterrestrial object? Tunguska was more than just an explosion. It opened the door to a series of questions that, to this day, humanity has no satisfactory answers. Scientific and non-scientific hypotheses. Over the decades, scientists have proposed several hypotheses to explain the event. Meteor or comet explosion in the air. This is the most common hypothesis. A meteor or comet, possibly containing a lot of water ice, completely vaporized upon entering the atmosphere, causing a huge explosion without leaving any obvious debris. Methane explosion. Another hypothesis suggests that the Tunguska region is rich in methane deposits, and a natural gas explosion could have caused the event. However, there is no clear evidence that a methane cloud large enough to create an explosion equivalent to a thermonuclear bomb. Nikola Tesla's failed experiment. Some believe the explosion was related to Tesla's wireless energy transmission experiments, specifically the death ray machine he was working on in the early 20th century. Extraterrestrial origin. The most daring theory is that it could have been an extraterrestrial spacecraft explosion. Some researchers point to similarities to the 1945 Hiroshima nuclear explosion, including the pattern of fallen trees and unusual radiation signatures. This raises the possibility of a crashed alien ship or an unidentified weapon detonated in Earth's atmosphere. The Tunguska mystery remains unsolved. Despite the advances in science, the strange explosion remains one of the most puzzling phenomena of the 20th century, leading many to continue to ask, do we really know everything about what's happening on our planet? Strange events after the explosion. More than just a mysterious explosion, Tunguska left behind a series of strange phenomena that lasted for many years. Locals said that the area at the center of the explosion showed no signs of life for decades. Trees did not grow back, animals stayed away, and those who dared to enter felt weak, dizzy, and had strange dreams about a bright light. In 1930, a group of Evenki hunters discovered a land where trees grew in a spiral shape, as if some kind of energy field was still active. Some hunters who returned reported strange lights appearing at night, flashing across the sky like signals. In the 1960s, Soviet researchers measured radiation in this area and found radiation levels higher than average, although they could not explain why. Some unofficial reports also mention small metal objects found deep in the ground, but then mysteriously disappeared. Was the Tunguska explosion simply an astronomical phenomenon, or did it hide a secret that has never been made public? The strange events following the explosion continue to raise the hypothesis that this place could be the remains of an alien civilization or a previously unknown physical phenomenon. Attempts to solve the mystery. Over the decades, the Tunguska explosion has continued to fascinate scientists, explorers, and mystery enthusiasts. Each new expedition has revealed surprising clues, but also left many unanswered questions. New expeditions. Following Kulik's 1927 expedition, the Soviet Union sent several more missions to Tunguska in the 1950s, 1960s, and 1970s. Each expedition brought back strange data, higher than normal radiation levels, unusual geological changes, and, most notably, scorched areas of land in asymmetrical shapes. In 2004, an Italian team traveled to Lake Checo, a small lake near the epicenter of the explosion, with the hypothesis that it might be the remaining impact crater. Seismic measurements of the lake bed have revealed a solid object buried deep in the sediments, leading many to believe that it could be part of the meteorite that caused the 1908 disaster. Modern technology and new discoveries. With the development of technology, scientists today can study Tunguska using satellites and remote sensing technology. Aerial images show that the remnants of the explosion have not completely disappeared, even after more than 100 years. The central areas still have unusual levels of vegetation growth compared to surrounding areas, suggesting that the impact of the explosion may have permanently changed the ecosystem there. Recently, astrophysicists have also studied the possibility that the explosion was related to antimatter or rare quantum physics phenomena. Some theories suggest that the explosion could have been the result of a wormhole or even a collision with a celestial body from another dimension. Unsolved mysteries. Despite numerous studies, there are still many mysteries surrounding Tunguska. If the explosion was caused by a meteorite or comet, Why have no large fragments been found? Why is there an unusually high level of radiation in the area? What do the strange lights that appeared after the explosion mean? Is Lake Checo really a trace of a meteorite or just a naturally formed lake? The Tunguska mystery has not been fully solved, and it will probably continue to challenge human intelligence for centuries to come. Every time a hypothesis is put forward, more strange things appear, making Tunguska one of the greatest unsolved cosmic mysteries. Daring and mysterious hypotheses that have not been solved. Despite more than a century of research, the Tunguska explosion remains one of the greatest mysteries of modern science. Along with the usual astronomical and physical hypotheses, there are more daring theories that go beyond human imagination. Extraterrestrial weapon hypothesis. Some researchers have theorized that the Tunguska explosion could have been the result of an extraterrestrial weapon. The reason is that the level of destruction was comparable to a nuclear explosion, but there were no traces of artificial radioactivity. Some witnesses reported seeing strange lights or blue flashes before the explosion, raising speculation about a weapons test by an advanced civilization. Some even believe that an alien spacecraft crashed and exploded while trying to land on Earth. Several surveys of the Tunguska region have found small metallic anomalies of unknown origin, but unfortunately many of these have either disappeared or have not been thoroughly examined. Wormholes or mysterious quantum physics phenomena. One of the more bizarre but intriguing hypotheses is that the Tunguska explosion may have been the result of a wormhole or brief contact with antimatter. Wormholes are hypothesized space-time tunnels that can connect different points in the universe. If a small wormhole opened at Tunguska for a brief moment, it could have released a huge amount of energy before closing without leaving a trace of matter. On the other hand, if a small chunk of antimatter fell into Earth's atmosphere, its annihilation upon contact with normal matter could have created a huge explosion without leaving any visible debris. This could explain the absence of meteorites or comets in scientific investigations. A lost ancient civilization? In addition to modern scientific theories, there are more mystical speculations. Some researchers believe that the Tunguska explosion may have been related to an advanced ancient civilization that once existed in Siberia. It is possible that an ancient weapon or energy source was accidentally activated, creating a terrible explosion. Several strange relics were found near the explosion site, including rocks with carvings of unknown origin, raising questions about the past of this land. Some theories even link Tunguska to the legend of the city of Atlantis or prehistoric civilizations that possessed superior technology but were forgotten over time. The mystery has not ended. The Tunguska explosion remains one of the most mysterious phenomena in human history. Theories about the origin of the explosion continue to be debated and researched, but it may take decades or even longer for humanity to truly understand what happened on that fateful morning of June 30th, 1908. Was Tunguska a warning from the cosmos? Or was it simply an extreme natural phenomenon that has yet to be fully deciphered? The answer still lurks in the mysterious mists of Siberia, waiting to be revealed one day. Tunguska and its mysterious links to history and the present. The Tunguska explosion is not only a strange natural phenomenon, but it is also associated with many historical mysteries and modern events. Over the past decades, scientists, historians, and even conspiracy theorists have found strange connections between Tunguska and other important events of humanity. Traces in ancient history. Some researchers believe that the Tunguska explosion was not the first such event on Earth. In the historical records of many ancient civilizations, there are documents mentioning lightning from the sky, thunderous explosions without rain, and even the mysterious destruction of ancient cities. Some stories in Norse mythology tell of the cosmic tree, Yggdrasil, being shaken by a bright light from the sky. Legends of the indigenous Evenki people of Siberia also speak of the wrath of the gods, with descriptions very similar to the Tunguska explosion. Could these be similar astronomical events that occurred in the past, but were not recorded by modern science? Tunguska and World War II. One of the most controversial theories is that the Tunguska explosion may have been related to some secret technology which may have been further developed in the years that followed. Some unconfirmed reports suggest that the Nazis were conducting research into secret forms of energy, including directed energy weapons or anti-gravity technology. Some conspiracy theorists believe that these prototypes may have originated from discoveries in the Tunguska region. There are also unverified accounts that the Soviet Union, during the Cold War, was also studying the area in search of a new energy source or a technology that could change the course of war. Tunguska and modern events. In 2013, a small meteor exploded in the sky over Chelyabinsk, Russia, causing a powerful shockwave that shattered the windows of thousands of buildings and injured more than 1,500 people. This led scientists to ask, what would happen if a similar, but much larger, meteor hit a densely populated area? Could Tunguska be a warning from space about the potential dangers of near-Earth objects? In addition, many astronomers warned that, although events like Tunguska may only happen once every hundreds or thousands of years, the Earth is not immune to threats from space. Many organizations, such as NASA and ESA, have set up asteroid monitoring systems to provide early warning of objects that are at risk of colliding with our planet. The mystery remains unsolved. Tunguska remains one of the most mysterious events in human history. With each new discovery, new questions are raised. Will we ever find a definitive answer to this explosion? Or will it forever remain a cosmic mystery, a story passed down from generation to generation, as a reminder that humans still do not fully understand the mysteries of the world we live in? Whatever the answer, Tunguska continues to be a scientific legend, a phenomenon that makes the whole world curious and thoughtful. And perhaps, somewhere in the universe, a similar event is waiting to happen, once again challenging humanity's understanding of its own planet. The finale, Tunguska and the message from space. After more than a century, the Tunguska explosion remains one of the greatest mysteries of the modern world. A number of theories have been put forward, from meteorites, comets, experimental weapons, to the intervention of alien civilizations. But is there an answer that truly explains all the strange phenomena surrounding this disaster? Tunguska, a warning? If the meteorite or comet hypothesis is correct, Tunguska could be a warning to humanity about the threat from space. The Earth is not immune to celestial collisions, and what happened in Siberia in 1908 could repeat itself in the future with unpredictable consequences. Modern scientists have been constantly developing systems to track asteroids near Earth, but are we capable of coping when a larger object is approaching at a destructive speed? The mystery continues. Researchers have not given up on the search for answers to the Tunguska explosion. Geological surveys continue. Satellite imagery is analyzed, and reenactments are providing more insight into the nature of the phenomenon. But no matter how far science has come, Tunguska remains a puzzle that is yet to be fully solved. What really happened on that fateful morning in 1908? Are there secrets that remain hidden? Or was the explosion itself a supernatural phenomenon that human minds have yet to understand? The never-ending legend. Tunguska is not just a scientific phenomenon. It has become a legend, a symbol of the world's unsolved mysteries. It reminds us that no matter how advanced science may be, there's still things that we cannot grasp. Perhaps Tunguska is not just a random event, but a cosmic reminder of how small humans are in the grand scheme of time and space. Will we ever find out the ultimate truth about Tunguska? Or will it forever remain one of humanity's greatest mysteries? The answer is still waiting somewhere in the universe.